online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Father of mine, tell me where have you been?
Nice.
You know, I just closed my
Hello,
eyes.
everybody, and welcome to another edition of Scorpion After Show on AFTERBUZZ TV. My name is Nando Velasquez, and we're here doing Season 1, Episode 7, also called Father's Day, and that song was a bit apropos for the episode, right? Absolutely. And alongside next to me today is...
Hi, guys. I'm Marina Santos.
And next to her...
Hey, you guys. I'm Ryland Adams.
Hey everybody, I'm Monse Bolanos.
Yes. So the whole gang is here.
Wait,
so,
Father's Day isn't coming up, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
I was like, wait, is that okay?
No, it's not coming up. It is interesting. It's November now. Yeah. Oh boy, it's November.
I got scared for a second.
And
It is
you haven't
November.
gotten your presents yet for your dad.
No, not yet.
Okay. No, me neither. So it's all good.
You got next year.
You got a couple
You're
of
good.
months.
You're good.
You know, get them after Christmas. It'll be on sale. Whatever it is. Get it
Black
after
Friday.
that. Yeah, or Black Friday.
Oh,
there you go.
yeah.
Start your Father's Day shopping now.
Black Friday.
That's your tip for today.
Yes.
So anyway, but the reason why this episode was called Father's Day is there's definitely a big theme here regarding a lot of themes actually, but really it centers a lot around Ralph's dad, who we finally see, and we actually talked about the other week during predictions, I believe. if I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
somebody. It was not me this time. I'm just saying.
It was not you. No, I believe it was me. Wasn't it me?
I think so.
I said it'd be a wrench
It
in
was
there.
one of you two, because I remember it was this side.
It was in regards to Walter and Paige, though. You're like, somebody's going
Yeah.
to come in to mess that up, and they focused a little bit more on the son, but you can see Walter. Like,
Or Happy, or we also said Happy and Toby with Toby's ex.
yeah, but they're
Yeah.
still
But this
cruising
one,
along.
that's still cruising along for right now. We'll
Still
get into
cruising
slow.
along.
We'll
Take
get
credit
into
for
that
it. Take credit
more or
for it.
less. We'll get into that. But anyway, so this whole thing really centers a lot around Ralph's dad, whose name is Drew. I wrote it
Tate.
down there.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Percy
Percy.
Kate, somebody else. No, it's yeah. We'll get into him.
Getting confused.
It's Drew.
I don't know if we ever got a
I don't
last
think we got a
name.
last
Yeah.
I
name.
think it was just Drew.
Really? Okay.
Well,
Drew
please
Baker.
please-
No, it's Drew Baker.
Yeah, I was going
knew
to
I
say,
wrote it
please
down.
let us know.
No, I knew I would write it down.
He
So,
was
excuse me,
struggling.
guys. We just got a little confused there. Drew Baker, who is a minor league pitcher, minor league reliever, who left Paige and Ralph over 7 years ago.
Right.
To continue his baseball career, pretty much just staying in the minor leagues, doing some international stuff in Mexico, and he never came back. And we find out a little bit later from Ralph that apparently he went to go see a movie.
And maybe went to see all of them.
And maybe he went to
All
see
of them.
every single movie.
For
was
7 years,
around.
he never left.
That was
the movie theater.
that was the most we've ever heard Ralph speak too,
Yes,
and it was very, very specific, almost kind of like very Rain Man
Yes.
in a way with the details that he
Talking
had.
exactly like the geniuses that are surrounding him.
The only thing missing was the exact movies that were playing when he left, but I'm sure if CBS could have, they would have mentioned them all.
Yeah.
So
Didn't have the time for
absolutely, I'm sure they didn't have the time for that. But anyway, so we see, well, first of all, let me ask your opinion on this. I thought this wasn't really a very action-packed episode, but I thought it was a very emotional episode.
absolutely.
Yeah. There was a lot of flashbacks, a
Yeah,
lot
tons
of
of flashbacks.
emotional flashbacks with
And a lot
Walter.
of the connection of the characters with their fathers,
Yeah.
and which most of them is not good.
Yeah, and it wasn't only emotional, like in the whole like tearjerker. I don't know if it was really a tearjerker type of show, but it was just, we talk a lot on this show about high IQ means low EQ, and I think it's easy to think that low EQ means no emotions.
Right.
But what there was a really good speech in the middle there about how they've dealt with their lives being bullied, how these geniuses have dealt with their lives being bullied and feeling manipulated and feeling ostracized, and they all react differently. And it actually explained each one of them how they are, like Happy being angry, Walter being detached, and they pretty much said Toby being a condescending jerk, which I thought was really, really funny. So we really got to see, I really think we got to see each one of the team Scorpion embracing that emotion throughout the show. And also it was really amazing to see, really cool in a way, to see them all be very protective over Ralph and how they all acted toward that. And for a second, it kind of reminded me. I know I do these. I did this last week. I think I just referenced movies like it reminds me of.
And we never know them.
Yeah.
No, you'll know this one. You better know this one. I know even Brazil. They know this one. No, you know what it kind of reminded me of? It kind of reminded me of like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Dwarves.
Okay.
Like the dwarves kind of being really protective over Snow White in a way. That's the way it kind of felt to me. They were very, very protective over Paige getting hurt. I mean, Walter obviously had more interest with Paige as well. Some of the other ones I think were a little bit more concerned about Ralph.
I like it though. I think it's showing that they are, maybe it's digging too, she was saying it's too personal, but I like that they're family and they kind of work together. So now that Paige is joining that, it's kind of expected that they would look into the guy. I mean, they're good at that. That's part of what they do for a living.
They have like a special bond that they feel that they have to protect Ralph in their own way from stuff that Paige doesn't understand.
Right. I just feel they think that they can do a better job, not as a parent, but just as in categorizing and knowing what this guy is all about. Right? Especially since he's been gone for so many years. How does she know if he's a good guy?
Yeah. As Toby said, it must be Father of the Year. Oh, I'm sorry, Father of 7 years. So yeah, I think with them, but here's the thing. I think with them, they were all very overreactive about this because they were obviously layering whatever their own experiences were as kids to this. And of course, we saw flashbacks this week from Walter with his time with Cabe and his dad a little bit, after he got arrested for hacking into NASA. But I'm sure that if they had time and if there was a possibility, we could have probably seen flashbacks from all of them on how they cope with stuff like this. So I think it was really interesting. But it was a detriment to Paige, and of course everyone. I think the perfect example of the havoc that they were kind of wreaking a little bit was when Toby went over to the motel to find Drew, and he was saying, "Oh, I lost my teacup Chihuahua Sprinkles. Can you please help me look for him?" And come on, please, if someone like Toby walked up to you and said, "I lost my teacup Chihuahua. Do you mind me getting in the car? We drive around town and look for him."
No.
Would you let him in?
No, I'd run.
I'd take maybe a walk around
No,
the neighborhood.
I would not do that.
You were
Hell
really
to
nice,
no.
Ryland. You were really,
He
really
came
nice
up
to
so
do that.
friendly though. He's so nice.
Yeah, but did you see the location? It was like a shitty motel. Like, oh yeah, that's totally normal. This random guy just walks to me in the parking lot, tries to touch my arm or shoulder, and then asks to drive with me around the block.
Okay, well maybe because you guys are girls, it's a little different. But I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm the creeper, not the creeper, but I'm the person on the street that would I smile and say hi to people because I think that they should do that.
Okay, but in all fairness, did Drew
Don't ever move to New York.
Don't ever move
People
to New
will
York.
slash
No,
you.
Even in LA. They're like, I'm a kid.
I think it depends on the situation for me. I think I would help. It depends on the situation.
Right.
But given that situation, do you think Drew overreacted? Do you think Drew was like, "Get away from me, creep"?
No, I probably would have reacted the same way. But like Toby, he didn't do it in he wasn't being like a super creeper.
Yeah.
He wasn't I didn't get the vibes that he's like, "I'm gonna kill you, Drew."
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe either. I wasn't worried for his life, but a teacup Chihuahua, you lost me. If you would have said something more believable.
That also takes away his
Listen,
harm though. A teacup
No,
Chihuahua?
but that's
Are
so,
you kidding me?
come
That
on.
happens all the time. I've seen it here in LA tons because girlfriends will get tiny dogs and then the boyfriends have to walk them. I see that in Santa Monica and Venice all the time.
That
is
Big
true.
guys with super tiny dogs.
This is LA. They got their trophy wives, and their trophy wives want their little dogs with them and everything. Yeah, I could see that.
That's what I could see
But
happening.
still, I think it was over the just too much for him to go have a conversation with him. That wasn't needed.
Well, first of all, and this is slightly divulging off topic. I mean, Toby just kind of has that hustler attitude no matter what. I think, he's really good at reading people, but I don't see him as really good as being like invisible or like sneaking in or trying to be like a good actor.
No.
Like he's good at pushing buttons, but when it comes to trying to get someone to help him, and he just comes across like with an agenda. It was I felt like it was obvious he had an agenda.
Yes.
And
Right.
Drew, I think, felt like, okay, there's something weird about this guy. So Drew was like, no, I'm sorry, I'm on my way someplace else. Let me go. And then of course Toby ends up saying, "You condescending jerk," which is funny because that's the last scene before that when they were talking about all condescending jerks. Sly, Sylvester, and Happy were both saying, "Oh yeah, that's Toby."
Yeah.
So he was projecting almost his own persona onto Drew, even though Drew wasn't really being a bad person.
Right. But I agree. It had to do with genuine. He was not genuine.
No.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I
he
don't think
just
it
he
was
just drank out of my water.
I did. Here.
Rue? Just after she said she can't get sick.
Yeah, if I get sick, you're doing it on purpose. guys.
I'm not.
They're
You
targeting
saw
us.
it here first. If I get sick, it's because
Here
he drank out of
first,
my
I
water.
I just drank Marina's.
I'm breaking.
This is the first time I'm sitting next to Marina because Monty couldn't take me anymore.
It's true.
Yeah.
I was
So,
done.
and now what do I do?
It was
I
a whole
drink
conversation.
from
Actually,
Marina's
it's because of water.
It's because of
he
water?
kept drinking my water. I was like,
There
I
we
can't
go.
handle this.
Can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Yes.
Okay.
I was assuming
I
there's going to be 3 of us on this side.
He's just thirsty,
gonna be
guys,
all
because
by
he had some
myself.
food. So he's
Are
a
we
little
gonna
thirsty.
Are we gonna get all behind the scenes
He's a
here
little
now?
thirsty
Yeah, we're gonna get all
since
behind
he
the
had
scenes.
some food.
Bye, Felicia.
While we watched the episode, Nando had some food. So he's thirsty. Do you want extra water, Nando? You can have mine too. Here.
No, because you are sick.
down
Because you
there.
are sick.
No, I'm not. It's
They're
allergy
allergies.
season. All right.
Wow.
Ryland.
November is so well known for allergy season. Okay, we are
Ryland's
totally
playing games. Yeah.
we have totally diverged from this whole thing.
We're
Okay.
so sorry.
So anyway,
Not really.
but you know what? Let's take a little reset here. Since we're having so much fun, you can join us by watching us on YouTube or on AfterBuzzTV.com when we air this at approximately 6 p.m. Pacific time on Mondays. If you're listening to us on iTunes, we invite you to please rate us, to subscribe to us. We love 5 stars. It helps us to talk to the publicists, get some people on the show, and really overall, it just helps all of our shows at AfterBuzz. We do about 80 shows here a week. It's really, really incredible, and we talk about every single TV show imaginable. So please do that, and then you get to see things like me drinking out of Marina's cup and all sorts of stuff. So,
If you're watching
which
on
is a
YouTube.
highlight.
Crazy.
Yes, it's a total highlight. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
If you're listening, you should watch it on YouTube.
This
now.
is Marina's idea of a crazy time. People drinking out of her
That's
cup.
it.
This
get,
is wild
get on
for
YouTube
her.
just to see that.
Yes,
We just lost so
absolutely.
many
This
viewers.
is their bye. Let's the mission though, you guys. We haven't
Okay.
even got into that.
Anyway, yeah, we haven't gone to the mission yet. So let's actually get a little bit into the mission, and we'll go back some more because I think there's still a lot of really good stuff about. The fruit stuff is really good actually too. I love that. I want to start looking at. I'm going to start looking at people eating fruit thanks to thanks to Scorpion right now. If someone uses their fingers aggressively, I want to see if they do that, if they peel long strokes or whatever it is. But anyway, I diverge. So anyway, Cape comes in to try and get the group focused onto the case this week, which is a prison break, a high-tech security prison, 3 prisoners breaking out. And the Team Scorpion finds out that one of the prisoners, 2 of them are Russian mobsters, but one of them is a genius. He is a hacktivist. He was put in jail supposedly for hacking election results using just the smallest margin of error to change the system.
Had an IQ
And-
150.
Yes, IQ 150 said?
Yeah.
Okay,
Which
so
is
not
like
as
the
smart as
borderline.
Walter,
Yeah.
but still
Yeah.
borderline, but still incredibly smart. But also, he's not really the kind of guy you usually would see with Russian mobsters. So the gang kind of surmised from going to that false gate, or that defunct gate, and finding out how they broke out, saw all the equipment that was being used. They found the drone that Sylvester adopted and called Bedroni, which is really, really cute.
Yeah.
We learned a little bit about Sylvester playing softball, being
Right
in right
field.
field all the time.
Because that's the position that doesn't matter.
I played right field.
I played outfield where I more like just sat.
No, I think I
Right.
played outfield. I don't know if I played right field or not, but I
If
played
you
outfield.
play right field at home, it's okay.
Or just,
Okay.
or let
We're
us know
not
why your
making fun of
position's
you.
valuable.
I
Not
loved.
at all.
I
All
loved.
positions are important.
I loved playing right field. I just loved hanging out, just making jokes. I didn't
Yeah.
mind.
it
That was me.
where
I
could
didn't
sit
play right
down.
field.
You didn't play right field?
No,
No.
I
Did you?
played like shortstop.
There
or
you
I
go.
pitched.
Or you pitched?
I pitched
Good
softball.
job.
I never played softball.
I
so-
caught or I did outfield. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I actually did first base for a little while.
But you're right. When you're out in outfield, you play with the grass. Like I remember when I was
Yeah, just goof off.
Find the four-leaf. I'd try to find four-leaf clovers, and I'd be like, "Why am I
or on the
here?"
dirt, you start writing your name with your
Yeah.
mates.
No, I for some reason I just was unfocused. So I was okay, but I was just unfocused all the time. So they just put me out there, and I was the guy who was just always doing all the cheers and trash talking and everything. It was fun. So very different. But apparently the mobster who was out in right field was there because they were actually smuggling contraband into the prison, and they were able to get a phone over to him that was able to, again, high-tech equipment. These Russian mobsters didn't seem like the kinds of people that could do all this stuff, so they obviously had Percy do all the work for them. And Walter figured out that this looked like it was really not 3 people breaking out of prison, but 2 people breaking out and 1 kidnapping.
Yes.
So, which Cabe did not agree with and said, okay, again, it seemed like Walter was kind of projecting himself as that kid that was ostracized,
Right.
getting picked on and teased or whatever. And we even saw a flashback where Cabe was with a teenage Walter and talking about his black eye, the shiner.
Yeah.
He got so mad he
PlayStation.
has to punch the microphone.
Yeah, I just had to punch the microphone.
I love that we got to see their relationship develop, like in the flashbacks. I liked being able to see all of those.
It was cute to see a little bit of it. It was a little rushed, I think. I still think there's a lot more.
It was rushed, but he gave us a perspective, excuse me, of what happened, because from the beginning we think that they had a horrible relationship. At least I thought.
Yeah.
From the beginning it was like, oh, they hate each other, but now they're working together and they're putting things behind, which is really not the truth, right? It's not what happened. They had the bad thing that happened with the government using whatever Walter did as a kid.
Yeah,
to-
the refugee aid
Right.
packages ended up being
Yeah.
used more for the military.
Yeah,
to
but in
drop
general,
bombs.
he was a father figure, and he was the one who really helped him
He
growing
nu-
up.
developed.
He
And
nurtured his talent.
Right.
When his father, you saw that one scene with his dad, who was like, "What are you doing? What are you giving him a computer?" Is like, he obviously didn't think of his son that way.
Right.
So
But
Kate did do that.
Yeah, I agree with Marina. I think it's very eye-opening. It might have been rushed, the flashbacks, but to me, it completely made me see a different side of their relationship.
I mean, the only reason why I think I say it's rushed is because we saw from the pilot that there seems to be a lot of animosity between
Right.
the two of them. So we didn't really get to see that scope. It was kind of like, here's this happened, then this happened, then that happened.
Right.
Well, we still saw towards the end of this episode that Kate was like, "Well, you still are holding that against me."
Yeah.
And he obviously is. So I think that will probably keep continuing in newer episodes, that they'll flash back to more of that.
I kind of hope so,
Yeah.
because I still think there's a disconnect with why Cabe is such a, was such a bad person or why
I
Walter
wonder-
thought of him as a bad person.
Well, whatever went down in that mission where they started using his software to drop bombs.
Yeah.
But I want to see more of that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wanna see
Yeah.
more of that.
Well, you could tell that Walter doesn't do well with betrayal. It was kind of like one of the themes with today,
Yeah.
because he even mentioned that, what was it, Tate Percy? Is that what his name was?
Percy
Percy
Tate.
Percy
Tate.
Tate. He's like, he did to us what normal people do to us.
Yeah.
Where they mess with us. But he's like, if we can't trust normal people and we can't trust ourselves, who's left to trust? So I don't know if necessarily there's more to Cabe just losing his trust
Yeah.
from that one mission.
Well, I think with Percy, it really hit him because, again, I mean, we've seen how Walter has created Team Scorpion
Right.
to bring together people with high IQs, again, low EQs, who don't know how to cope in the real world, and to give them a home and to give them a family.
But-
And for the first half of the show, they're reaching out to Percy, especially once he figures out that Percy's being kidnapped. The way they're reaching out to him, it's like he's playing on their team.
Right.
Right.
And then they figured out, once they figured out the bank account, once they figured out the real plan, which is the plan was to, pretty much manipulate that software that Percy was using for the elections and rig it for the stock exchange to
Right.
make them tons of money. And then they found
Without
out that,
anybody being able to see.
yeah, and they found out that Percy had this whole plan that he wanted to get caught, that he was using the geniuses on Team Scorpion to get caught, so that these Russian mobsters would get caught and he would look like a innocent bystander.
While having money.
Yeah.
And he
another
only had a
country
few
for
months
him to,
left.
Right.
Yeah, they probably add a year onto it. I think they said they'd probably add a year onto his sentence just because they probably have to, because
Right.
he still did kind of break out and
Right.
kind of help out.
Yeah.
And he come out a millionaire or
Yeah.
whatever it was, a
Go to his
billionaire.
other country and just live that dream.
Crazy.
Yeah, and Walter was incredibly upset about that.
Right.
Well, yeah, as he should be.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Using your
Right.
genius for wrong.
I definitely see that. So I mean, really, really interesting. You know, a lot of stuff that we don't understand. It was really, really cool, like the coding. I mean, Berdroni crashing into the window was really funny. Obviously, these guys are going on their own against. This is like their biggest threat. These guys shoot first. They literally shoot first, ask questions later, and they're putting themselves in harm's way. You know, Berdroni crashing into the safe house was pretty funny. Yeah. Toby and Sylvester fighting over Berdroni. Yeah. And
I think that Sylvester's throw was pretty funny.
That was hilarious.
The first one, it was like. Of course you can't see if you're listening to this. It was very bad.
But then the second one was right on, and it's like, no.
Yeah,
you would have had to do it a couple of times.
There's no
Paige
way.
spoke. Yeah, Paige got him into it.
All right, okay.
Paige did
Yeah,
something.
but after Paige is like, hey, show your dad, prove your dad wrong. She's like, I'm now a superstar.
Yeah, he did 2 in a row.
2 in a row.
What are the chances?
Nailed it.
Absolutely, and then of course seeing Toby. You know, first of all, we saw Happy use the optical drive of a DVD player from a laptop, had it open, and used a laser on the DVD drive and a mirror to make that little red dot on their chests, on the mobster's chest, to make them think they had snipers on them. And meanwhile, Toby's busy doing his best New York. I don't know about New York, but his best like cliche Hollywood, you know, unstable police officer, you know, Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson style. You know, like, maybe I'll shoot you, maybe I won't, I don't know. I'm not doing a terrible job right now, but you know what I mean. But really, really bad, cliched, loose cannon cop, which Happy was saying, shut the hell up, you know, it's not going to work. And apparently it was working, which I think was really funnier. The way the Russian, really good acting all around, the way the Russian mobsters were like playing it off, the actors doing them. Until they lost battery power, and we started seeing the red light flash. So that was kind of funny. And then we see Walter sacrificing himself again. Another case of him trying to sacrifice himself. There's
definitely a pattern.
Getting Sylvester and getting Paige out of danger. And you know, just to bring it back briefly before we get back into the whole Ralph's dad thing. You know, we see him saying, you know, your son needs you. You know, you're right. We get in the way, blah, blah, blah. You know, he needs you. We're butting in. So you get to go, you know, back for Ralph and don't worry about me. So
which she did in the last episode, too. She sent her away. He always sends her away.
Yeah, he always sends her away.
Yeah.
It's a big theme. It's the very dramatic. It's the very noble thing to do.
To
you
make us
know,
like Walter even more.
He gives himself up for others.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't see that much of a love thing. Like last week was definitely there. The whole dating thing, Hetty bringing it, you know, mentioning.
See, and that's when you guys were saying in predictions, somebody's got to come in. I was like, no, they're gonna heat up. But you guys, it was you, I believe, that said her or Walter.
Yeah, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, Toby did have a moment when Happy punched through the wall.
Oh
and
yeah,
he
I
goes,
loved it.
Oh, it's such a turn on.
We saw that
funny.
a little bit. Yeah, we definitely saw that. And then also Toby being really, really, you know, bringing the files to Happy about her dad.
Right.
Because we saw her reaction about the whole dad thing. She had her own reaction. Yeah. And she ended up shredding all the information and saying, you know, I'm a pretty decent hacker. I can get this on my own. I didn't need your help. So it was Happy being like, I can do things on my own, being very independent, and also Happy just sticking to her guns, being stubborn and saying, I don't need a father.
Right.
Yeah, if he wanted to find me, he could have done that.
Yeah.
And I think it was the first time, too, that we actually learned what happened to her, right? We knew she didn't grow up with her parents, but we found out that her mother died doing childbirth, and her dad left her.
Yeah.
And then she had been waiting for that red truck.
Yeah.
Out the window.
With the dented bumper, so that was actually really, really beautiful. Let's you know, since right after that whole thing with the shootout and everything, Kate came in and saved the day from the gang. So, and everybody, including Percy, got arrested.
Yes.
You know, which I'm sure made Walter happy that even the guy who he felt was manipulating him got arrested as well.
What about that punch that Walter threw?
Oh yeah,
That was
no.
such a punch. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Cabe-
Walter, I see you.
I love that. Then Cabe was like, "You remembered the nose," because in the
Yeah.
flashback he was teaching him how to.
Yeah,
fight.
no, I love that they brought that back.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool. So yeah, so I guess that was really, we didn't get to, you know, Percy wasn't a major character other than the fact that they were just trying to find him. So really all it needed was just that punch at the end, and that was Walter's closure,
Right,
in
yeah.
a way of getting
Yeah.
closing the gap between his fist and the nose. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about Drew. You know, and about the gang, because we definitely started talking about Happy, because I thought that was really, really cool. But we got to see Drew come over to Scorpion Base in the middle of the episode, and of course the gang's all like hiding away. We see Sylvester bringing the fruit.
Yeah.
It was really, really funny.
Toby like is
Toby
booking
ran.
it. He's like, I can't
be seen because
Yeah.
he was just with
He's
his
the creeper looking for his
I know, where's your chihuahua? I was hoping you would have seen him and would have
Like-
brought that up.
Well-
Weren't you just
It would have been
looking
funny.
for a chihuahua?
Yeah.
I was hoping.
Yeah, because then you know you're gonna get like that shot of Paige being like,
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
did you do?
yeah.
At
was
that
good.
point, Paige didn't know that they were looking into him. I don't think.
Yeah, they didn't.
Not
Well, she
until
would
Walter
find
said.
out.
Not until Walter said later about the St. Louis.
Right.
Picture from St. Louis,
Right.
and she's like, "I never told you that." So not till then, because Paige told Walter not to look him up, and then
Yeah.
Toby, of course, said, "Well, she
told
told
you."
you."
Yeah.
And that's when he started his little investigation. But again, really funny. I mean, because again, just funny seeing the gang overanalyzing this guy. Toby overanalyzing everything when he went over to visit him at the motel, and then when Drew came over, and like I said, they're all getting the fruit ready, and they're all trying to spend as
So
much time with him as possible. I mean, that's what Toby wanted. Toby wanted Drew in the car with him,
Right.
so he could like watch his every move and
Yeah.
analyze it and figure everything out just from his behavior.
Right.
So again, really, really hilarious little scene. Seeing them again, like little dwarves, just running around, hiding in the background, making sure
Yeah.
Snow White's okay. That's the way I looked at it, and so we see, that Toby's way of dealing with it obviously was you trying to find more information out. The behaviorist in him, digging more information, but also kind of projecting all the bad things that he's experienced with his childhood onto Drew. So he was obviously very biased. We see Sylvester kind of, as usual, just very neurotic and running around with, and then Walter kind of detached, like really wanting to protect Paige, but also very detached from the whole thing, and really standing firm not to let Ralph be there. And Happy just seemed very also detached, but angry overall, and stuck in her own thing about her dad, about why couldn't he find me. And then we see, of all things, I mean, so cool. Like Happy goes up to Paige and says, "Look, I know everyone else has walked up to you and told you their thoughts, but now I'm going to." And Paige, of course, said, "No, I don't want to hear it from you too," because no one was really helping. And of course, Happy just said the most amazing thing about what Ralph's speech really was all about. The reason why he was saying all those details.
This is waiting.
He's waiting for him. Yeah. And I thought that was really, really, I thought it was a really awesome scene.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
because it was like, yeah, he needs some closure regarding of
And
what it is. He needs closure, and what closure or can't
just to know
speak.
that somebody cares.
Right.
Yeah,
And
whether the dad stays in his life or not, like he needed some sort of closure because he's still waiting for the dad to come home from the movies.
Yeah.
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 And I think she was convincing herself to do something at that point as well. As much as she was telling Paige what to do, she was like, maybe it brought up that maybe she needs to connect with her father
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah, I was waiting for it to happen because I felt she was the one to give the best advice, considering she was Ralph at one point. So I was
Yeah.
waiting for it to happen, especially since she kept not. They didn't show her talking to Paige at all.
Yeah.
I was like, it has to happen. She has to be the one that will give the right
Yeah.
advice.
Nice little prediction there in the middle of the show.
I did. I was like, it has to. Just it was just the way it was set up. You know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and it also just showed, at least at that moment, why Happy didn't want the information from her dad at the time, and why she was so angry about the whole thing, because she's angry about waiting all the time.
Right.
And she probably, I mean, this is what I'm surmising from what she thinks. She thinks her dad doesn't love her because he's never came to look for her.
Right.
So why should she bother to look for him? So, of course, she was very independent, and she learned to do everything on her own. And that just talks, I mean, it's a beautiful character development for Happy, because it really speaks a lot into her. But, of course, after speaking to Paige, it seems to me that she also had a bit of a change of heart herself in regards to her dad, and we saw her actually pursue him.
Yeah, so
And,
cute.
and go for a job over at his, and of course he's a mechanic.
Yeah.
Of course,
You hiring.
yeah. Of course, Happy's dad has to be a mechanic, and probably not as smart as she is. Obviously, doesn't do cars as good as her. And we even see at one point she pulls something from her pocket, and it's a shredded photo
Right.
that she had from when she shredded it, Toby's files.
Right.
So very, very touching, very, 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 very cute scene. And of course, because of that, Paige decides, okay, you know, I mean, we haven't really seen anything bad from Drew at
Right.
all.
No.
You know,
Just
even
that he hasn't been around.
even the battery charge, when Paige told, you know, when they found out that he was charged with battery 12 years ago, you know, Paige knew about it. Paige told Walter it was a baseball thing. It was he beaned a batter, and they wanted to press charges on him. So even that wasn't a bad guy, other than the fact that, I mean, he abandoned his kid for his, I guess, for his career. He says he acted like a kid, so who knows? Maybe there was some other stuff there, but at least they alluded to it being, he was a minor league baseball pitcher. He just kept going for it. And
You never know his intentions. Maybe he thought he'd hit it big and help them out. And my first thought when she was like, he's a baseball player, I was like, he's a baseball player and he can't pay for her to be not waiting tables, because at the beginning of this show.
Well, minor league.
Minor league.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I found that
Not
out.
the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
minor league. So unfortunately,
But he had intentions of making
Oh,
it big if he's
definitely.
pursuing it. So
Yeah,
maybe
of
he
course.
thought that he was going to be able to provide for them in the
Yeah,
future.
he did it for so long. That's had to have been his ultimate
Yeah.
goal. But
So he seemed like a nice guy. And when he showed up at their base, they you know, he still had like this whole like responsibility thing. He was like, I messed up.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one
Right.
thing in life that I did good, I deserted. You know, it was a pretty authentic speech.
Yeah, I thought so.
And Paige, of course, at the time wasn't thinking about letting him, but Happy got him to change his mind. And Walter comes up to her and says, "You're gonna go have him meet Ralph." Goes, "No, I'm gonna have Ralph meet him."
yeah,
Yeah.
which is correct.
Yeah, which was correct, and it was good.
Yeah.
And then he said that he'd stay out of that, but he's there for Ralph.
If he needs anything.
But then he shows up.
Then he shows up. He shows up for Ralph. So there you
That's
go.
hard.
okay. They all, yeah.
But you know, he shows up for Ralph, and then what was really cool too was Cabe shows up
Yeah.
for him and knew
Walter.
that he was going to be there too for Walter, and so they had another little moment talking about their past and about, you know, kind of rectifying things, and more or less, I mean, most of the episodes have ended with this whole big group shot, everyone together, barbecuing, hanging out, having a good time. This one ended slightly differently. It was very melancholy between that really nice moment with Happy at the garage, bonding with her
Although
dad.
she hasn't told him yet. I'm curious to see where that goes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
really
hope he
curious.
keeps coming back. I hope this is
She
a story
needs to
we're
keep
gonna.
going to him.
Yeah,
I think it
Because
will.
we needed to see some we needed to get some insight into Happy, because she's always kind of just there, but we
Yeah.
don't know anything.
And she's
about
never
her.
vulnerable, right? She's like the
No.
strongest one in the team,
Right.
Scorpion. She's the one that is always like very forward,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
rational,
very
and
Miss Independent.
yeah,
Especially with Toby, because she doesn't want to show Toby her any
Yeah.
emotions.
yeah.
So this was really a nice little different side of her.
I hope next episode they give us a little bit into Sylvester's life, because we know his
know.
quirks, but we don't know anything
Besides,
deeper. Like
Right.
we don't really know much about him.
Yeah,
That's
that'd
the
be
interesting.
nice.
That's the interesting thing. Yeah, Sylvester's been a lot of comic relief,
Yeah.
and
So
we've
he's
seen a
gotta
little
have
bit
his
more.
moment. I
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah, I think. Well, we'll start moving into that in a second, but we should say some major piece of news and gossip. We didn't really talk about it before the show, but there is some news and gossip
a little bit.
that we haven't really brought up. So. Anyway, I will bring that up. News and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Sorry, I just kept saying it over and over again. He's like, "Do you want me to hit it? Do you want me to hit it?" I don't know. That's a good job. It's on me.
We need our sound
I
effects.
engineer.
We
I
did- we
engineer,
did-
so I know that feeling. I
We
know that
couldn't tell
feeling.
either. I was like,
Yeah, we had that news and gossip.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about news and gossip. So, congratulations, Scorpion. You got a full season order. Yes, it was announced very early last week, within a day or two after our last show. So we haven't really had a chance to really celebrate on the show. But Scorpion, no big surprise really when you think
No.
about it. Ratings-wise, they've
No.
been holding up really, really well on a very aggressive Monday night lineup ratings wise. A lot of good shows on Monday nights.
Yeah.
NBC's got The Voice and Blacklist, and it's just
Gotham.
Yeah, Gotham on Fox. It's a
NFL,
really,
Monday
and of
Night
course
Football.
Monday Night Football.
Right.
A lot. Monday nights is a very, very active night, and and they've held a really good lead-in from Big Bang Theory. So yeah, really no surprise. It's definitely one of the top new shows of the year, of this season, and to even be able to say that opposite another one of the top new shows of the year, which is Gotham, is really, really saying something. Two extraordinary shows holding up really well against each other, and I think they both have a very similar audience too. So I think for both shows to be doing so well is a really, really good thing. So yeah, congratulations to everybody involved with Scorpion, the cast, the crew, the producers, CBS, everybody. We love you guys. Let's have you on our show now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, because that's secretly a little behind the scenes stuff. That's been the thing that's been holding them back a little bit. They've been so busy trying to put on a really good show. They literally, I reached out and they literally told me, the publicist really said, let's just get these first episodes out of the way. Once we get picked up, we'll have a little more breathing room. So we're hoping to get some people on the show. So again, another good reason to please rate us, comment, like us, all that stuff.
5 stars.
Absolutely, 5 stars. That being said, I believe that's all our news and gossip. Unless anyone else has anything else really exciting to say.
Not like that.
Not like that. So, with that, let us move to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so that being said, I just want to start off really quick by saying we're probably going to talk about scenes that we saw in the upcoming episode. So anybody who doesn't like to watch those scenes, you may, unless I know I'll bring up something. So I'm just letting you know right now there might be some minor spoilers, not really big spoilers, but just for those people who don't like to look at next week's episode, scenes from that. Anyway, who wants to go first?
I will.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I predict that, like we saw, that Toby is going to get himself in some situation, right?
Yeah.
Happy will save him. Happy will be the one to save him, and then the glorious moment between them will keep going. And I'm also hoping we're going to see Drew next week. Drew and Ralph together.
We think we will.
Like already, I just want to see them interact
A little more of that.
a little bit more.
So you think we're going to see? Do you think we're going to see a lot more of Drew?
Do we think Drew's going to be a series regular?
Well, I wouldn't say series regular, but recurring character.
Series
Yes,
I hope so.
Yeah.
And I don't need him back every single episode, but because they kind of just shed a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Give us a little more, and then, come back in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever.
He can be recurring, but I don't want him to be too regular because I'm still team Walter and Paige.
Of course.
Right. Yeah, I don't want him to be part of Scorpion or anything. I just want them
He's got to be smarter.
He
I
was
think.
like, what do you
Right.
guys do here?
Yeah. And how he didn't question it more, I would have been like, what? Because he heard a little bit of it. Didn't you hear them say something about the kidnappers or something?
Yeah.
Or,
If you walked into that, you'd be like, wait.
and I would keep following Paige. We're like, wait, what are you guys doing in here? Yeah, tell me. But
He's
yeah, I
worried about
hope
his
he
son.
comes back just for a little bit, and I don't need him, like I said, to be back every week. I want to see them interact. If Ralph is going to keep him in his life, because it seems as though Paige is going to leave it in his hands.
Well, just to add on to your thing, just because I do think that he's got to come back, but I think especially after last week's episode was like such a strong episode about the relationship between Walter and Paige. Everything's been like very small hints, and then last week somebody finally said, "You like Paige," and it was really, really like almost like a hammer on the head, like you really like her. So I really think that Drew is going to keep coming back, not every week,
Right.
but really
Definitely
back
next week.
And what really sucks about it is that so far he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's such a
And
nice
he's
guy.
good looking.
I
was just
sucks
about
for
to
Walter. Like, that sucks. If I was Walter, I'd be like, shoot.
Yeah, I was like, he's not bad to look at.
Yeah.
I mean, keep coming back.
Okay, well,
You
to
have
our show.
Monty's seal of approval.
Why not?
To keep coming back.
Why not?
And maybe on the show too. Marina wants him on the show. So
Yeah,
we'll-
see?
Hello,
got our vote.
CBS.
You got
By
our
the way,
vote.
the actor that's
Drew.
playing Drew, we're gonna look up his name. We didn't have a chance to this
Yeah.
episode, but we will invite. You're invited.
You're
And you
all
can-
invited.
You're all invited.
You're all
right?
invited, but
Come
Drew gets to
hang.
sit between Monse and Marina. Apparently.
Hashtag truth.
you'll be where I am.
Hashtag
I'll
truth.
stand over there.
Ryland, go away.
Carl and I will just sit on this side.
Yeah, you
I'm busy that week.
Just sit
It's
over there.
fine.
No, we're not kicking you out. We're just saying you're gonna have to
Right.
make room for him.
We'll find a place.
We'll put you next to me.
I'll come next to you.
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
sit guys
They'll
and girls.
sandwich
Yeah,
Drew.
there we go.
Okay, so I think that I want to see more of Happy in her relationship with her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I was saying, I want to see some of the background of Sylvester's life. So I hope both of those things happen.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see more of Sylvester's and also Toby. We didn't get to hear much about Toby's background and what
Yeah.
happens with his family. But I do think we're going to continue to see more development with Walter and Kate and their relationship and
Yeah.
what happened and how they're going to move forward. You know, how he's going to start trusting, how he's going to move past this problem that is being interfering their relationship.
Absolutely. I think definitely based on what we saw for next week's episode, and we saw that one scene that I just love it when I see a scene like that. I would hate for this to happen to me, but getting hung by the ankles
Oh my
on a
God.
rooftop.
Oh, yeah, that quick glimpse.
That quick glimpse. You saw that shot, and we've seen that before. Actually, I think Batman did it in a movie, so who knows? Maybe it'll happen in Gotham.
Right.
But you know, we've seen that in other shows. I think Hangover had it. Some other TV shows and movies. I have a feeling that's not the first time that's ever happened to Toby.
No.
But I definitely think that
His gambling
I do
days.
think that for some reason I get the feeling that we're going to see a lot of Toby's backstory next week because of that scene.
That is
Because of
true.
what we saw from that scene.
Right.
I also want to predict, I don't think it's going to happen next week's episode. I don't think we're going to see Happy's dad right away. But I would say there will be a case that involves Happy's dad.
Oh, interesting.
So he's a bad guy?
Not a bad guy, no, like a victim. Or like something happens to him, or maybe his garage. I don't know if
And
he
then
owns that
she has
garage.
to come to the rescue.
And Team Scorpion
said he
comes
was-
to the rescue. Like
It's good. I
And
like
he's
that.
gonna find out that
She's a
his
genius.
Yeah.
she's his
And-
daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And if that's already in the script,
Yeah.
they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
You're
think
welcome.
You're welcome.
Nando just wrote your
guarantee
episode.
You're
I get
welcome.
10%. I get 10% or whatever it is. No,
We'll
but
take some of that.
maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not a direct victim, but it's something that affects him in some kind
I
of
like
way.
that.
Yeah.
You know, that Happy obviously feels connected to and wants to help him.
Help
and
him.
and I don't think he will know that she's his daughter right away.
Mm-hmm,
But I think she'll just save him. It'll look like a very
that's it.
selfless act, and he won't know, but she'll know because I don't think she's ready to.
Tell him.
Yeah.
And then Sylvester will let it slip
Yeah,
that it's her
somebody,
daughter.
somebody.
And Sylvester will
somebody
let it
will.
slip, yeah.
I could see that. I could see that. I could totally,
You
absolutely
know?
see that.
Like if he was like, oh, she just did it out of the goodness of her heart, because she's your daughter. And then that's how it would happen. Done.
yeah.
like it.
So,
So I take
uh,
another 10%, CBS.
There you go. And
I'll
then
get
of
some
course.
headlines for you next week.
And then, of course, we'll
I'll be
see a whole
trapped.
bunch of little stuff that we won't understand, like the whole. You know, I even want to talk
Some
about
genius
the
stuff.
potato chip thing was really cool.
Oh,
The
yeah.
whole sound waves with that.
Yeah.
I really wish we need to get an expert here who knows all this stuff too, so we can say, is that
We need
really
to get
true?
a genius.
A
panel.
genius.
And then
The
also,
genius could sit between me and Ryland while we have Drew. On
Yeah.
on
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
that's
It's
great.
true.
We'll do a
Take
full
the
panel.
genius.
I also love that they were playing the memory games at the beginning.
That was
my
based on
God.
Simon. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
He's
Well,
like, we
yeah,
Yeah.
a 1,000 sequencer
Yeah.
thing, and of course Happy and Toby betting, which
they're
is
just
really
like
cute.
handing each other.
Very, very
money.
cute. But anyway, so yeah, I just want to mention that a little bit because I thought that was. We didn't really talk about any of the little high tech type stuff this week, but I think it was very thematic and a very emotional show.
Yeah, I like how they're
So-
changing the formats.
Yeah,
every episode.
I
It keeps
agree.
me interested because a lot of procedurals you just get.
The same thing.
I agree. It was way different. I was very happy at the end that it wasn't the group shot of them just being happy. go
With
on.
Ralph.
You know what? You
Flashbacks,
gotta
all
gotta
that.
mix it up sometimes,
Yeah.
or else it's like, yeah, here we go again. They're
Yeah.
all happy. They're all
Right.
doing this.
So yeah, I agree. Different.
great.
Absolutely.
Threw us some
Okay.
curveballs.
So that pretty much wraps up this week's edition of AfterBuzz, the after show for Scorpion.
There it goes.
During the week, where can we find you, lovely people?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rina Brazil. That is RINABRAZIL.
And you can find me on Instagram at Ryland Adams and on Twitter at Ryland_Adams.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MonseBolanos.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Nandovel, NANDOVEL. You can also find us on various AfterBuzz shows. Monse does Gotham, which is
I do.
awesome. I do Blacklist and Homeland and Walking Dead. And again, there are 80 shows. Please comment and rate on all of us. And please, we
Tweet us.
Tweet at us.
Yeah.
We read the
Right.
YouTube comments. So yeah, we'd love to hear more from you. And other than that, if you want to hear us, then catch us next week when we do another exciting episode of Scorpion. Thanks a lot, and see you next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.